Sienna called Brooke from the stairwell because she did not want Marco to hear her voice shake. She said, "I went live by accident for 12 seconds. Brooke was half asleep. "Okay, that's embarrassing but survivable." "No," Sienna said. "Marco's ex joined." There was a pause. Then Sienna added the part that made Brooke sit up. 9 minutes later, his apartment story disappeared. That is the part people miss in these stories. The live was awkward. The deletion was the clue. Sienna and Marco had been dating for 5 months in Los Angeles, not long enough to have a shared Costco card, but long enough that she had a toothbrush in his bathroom and a drawer that was technically not a drawer because Marco kept calling it temporary. He had just moved into a one-bedroom in Silver Lake with bad parking, too much sunlight, and a balcony that made everyone pretend the rent was reasonable. Marco kept saying the apartment was a fresh start. The word fresh mattered because his ex, Kira, was still orbiting the old version of his life. She did not comment. She did not DM Sienna. She did not do anything dramatic enough to complain about without sounding insecure. She was just there. In mutual stories, in old tagged photos, in the friend group's birthday posts, in the way Marco said, "Kira's old news," a little too fast. Sienna was trying hard to be normal about it. She did not want to be the girlfriend who turned into a detective over Instagram. She had even told herself, out loud, "If something is real, I won't have to hunt for it." Then Saturday night happened. Marco had a small housewarming. 8 people. Trader Joe's flowers. Someone brought mezcal. Someone else brought a cake that said, "Adult apartment," in blue icing. Sienna filmed a quick story of the kitchen counter. 2 wine glasses, her gray hoodie on a chair, Marco laughing off camera. She did not tag him. She did not show his face. She did not make it a relationship announcement. Marco posted his own story 2 minutes later. Same counter, same wine glasses, same hoodie. His caption said, "First night settled." Brooke interrupted her there. "Wait, he posted the hoodie?" "Yes," Sienna said, "but not me." "That's annoying, but not illegal." "I know." At 12:08 a.m., Sienna opened Instagram to send the story to her close friend. Her thumb hit live by mistake. 12 seconds, maybe 13. Her face was not even centered. It was mostly ceiling, kitchen noise, and her saying, "Oh my God, no!" She ended it immediately. But Instagram still showed the tiny viewer list. 1 name. Kira. Brooke made a sound into the phone. Could have been a mistap. That's what I told myself. And it could be true. I know. That mattered. A live entry is visible, but it is not a confession. People tap the wrong circle. People lurk. People are bored at midnight. One accidental overlap does not prove a secret. Then Sienna checked Marco's profile. The apartment story was gone. Not archived after 24 hours, not replaced by a better angle. Gone 9 minutes after Kira entered the live. Brooke got quiet. Sienna said, "Tell me I'm being crazy." Brooke did not say that. She said, "What exactly was in his story?" 2 glasses, my hoodie, the caption. Was your face in it? No. Your name? No. So it was vague enough to deny. Yes, but specific enough that someone who knew the hoodie would know. Sienna hated that Brooke understood it so quickly. The next morning, she tried to let it go. She made coffee in Marco's kitchen while he slept. She posted a story from the balcony, just the skyline and a mug. Nothing romantic, nothing accusatory. The kind of story people post when they want to look calm. At 8:14 a.m., Kira viewed it. Sienna stared at the username longer than she wanted to admit. At 8:22, Marco's housewarming repost disappeared from his highlights. At 8:31, Kira posted a gym mirror story with the text, "Some people move fast." Brooke stopped her there. That gym story is weak. I know. No, really, that could mean anything. That could be about a workout, a roommate, a parking ticket. You cannot build a case on a vague caption. I know. But the 8 minutes? Yeah, that part is harder to ignore. This is where the story gets uncomfortable, because the human brain wants one clean answer. Kira is jealous. Marco is hiding something. Sienna caught them. Roll credits. Real life is messier. Nobody could prove Kira viewed Marco's profile. Nobody could prove Marco deleted the story because of Kira. Nobody could prove cheating, flirting, guilt, or a secret conversation. Instagram was not handing Sienna a private report. It was only showing a few public actions in a tight order. Sienna becomes visible. Kira appears. Marco removes relationship context. The same shape repeats the next morning. That is not proof. It is a pattern. And a pattern is enough to ask a better question. Sienna had been asking, "Is Kira obsessed with us?" Brooke said, "Wrong question." What is the question? Why does Marco hide evidence of you when Kira can see it? That landed harder than the live viewer list, because the problem was not Kira's curiosity. Curiosity is cheap. Everybody checks. Everybody pretends they don't. The problem was Marco's cleanup. He was not accidentally deleting context. He was choosing what stayed visible after the wrong person appeared. This is also where a tool like Synapse AI has to stay honest. Used properly, it can help organize visible signals: a live entry, a story viewer, a timestamp, a deleted highlight, a public repost, a repeated cluster. It can help separate one random event from a sequence that keeps forming the same shape, but it cannot read minds. It cannot expose private profile visitors. It cannot tell you a person is in love, cheating, guilty, or stalking. It cannot turn jealousy into a verdict just because the timing feels painful. The point is not to spy harder. The point is to stop treating one signal like a confession and start seeing whether the visible behavior repeats. Brooke told Sienna, "Do not message Kira." "I wasn't going to." "You absolutely were." Sienna looked down at the draft she had already typed. "Did you mean to join my live?" She deleted it. Then Brooke said, "Ask Marco one clean question." So Sienna waited until he woke up. No dramatic speech, no screenshot slideshow, no courtroom voice. She asked, "Why did your apartment story disappear after Kira joined my live?" Marco blinked once, then twice. That pause did more damage than a denial would have. Finally, he said, "I didn't want drama." Sienna laughed, but not because it was funny. "Drama with who?" He did not answer fast enough, and that was the answer. Not proof that he cheated, not proof that Kira wanted him back, not proof that the live meant anything by itself, but proof that Marco was making Sienna smaller in public to keep someone else comfortable. That is the part she could not unsee. Later, Brooke asked what she was going to do. Sienna said, "I don't know yet." That was the most honest answer in the whole story. She did not need to decide her entire relationship from 2 deleted stories and 1 accidental live. But she also did not need to keep pretending the feeling came from nowhere. 1 accidental live can be noise. Repeated cleanup is information. Information is not a verdict, but sometimes it is enough to stop handing someone more trust while they are still hiding the evidence that you exist. The 12 seconds did not expose Kira. They exposed what Marco was willing to hide.